This is the 16.1 guided practice. I'm going to be doing the evens, and it's all about right triangles and using the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so just a couple quick notes here by the stars. C is the hypotenuse in this triangle that I made right here, okay? You can tell it's the hypotenuse because it is opposite of the 90-degree angle that's right here. So in any triangle, no matter how it's shaped, for example, in number 4, the right triangle is right here, so opposite side of that means that that would be the hypotenuse, okay? So then the Pythagorean theorem says that it has to be this leg, which is A, plus this leg, which is B. So A squared plus B squared has to equal C squared. So for the first one, just find the missing side of the triangle, round your answers to the nearest tenth if necessary. So I know opposite side is X, so that's actually our C. So I'll do 4 squared plus 3 squared is equal to C squared or X squared, depending on how you wrote it. So I know that's 16 plus 9 is equal to C squared. So then 25 is equal to C squared. How do I get C by itself? I take the square root of both sides. So then C is going to equal 5. All right, for number 4, I'm going to do one of the legs, which is 6.3 squared, plus the other leg, which will just be x squared, is equal to 15.4 squared. So then I go do that in my calculator. I square these, and that would be 39.69 plus x squared is equal to 237.16. I'm going to minus the 39.69 on each side. So 39.69. So I'll have x squared is equal to 197.47. Again, I just find what x would be by taking the square root of both sides. And so an x would be square root of 197.47 is 14.1 because I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. See if I am correct here. 14.1. All right, so find the missing side of each triangle. So remember, you don't have to leave your answers in simplest radical form. So again, we're doing the same thing here. I know that my hypotenuse, or my C, is 16 millimeters. So I'm doing 8 squared plus x squared is equal to 16 squared. So 64 plus x squared is equal to 16 squared is equal to 256. I'm going to minus the 64 on each side. So I'll have x squared is equal to 192. Take the square root of both of those, and I get x is equal to 13.9. Now, the answer key might have it something like that, but if you were to say take 8 times radical 3, and I'll just do that in my calculator, you get 13.9. So it's the same thing. Find the missing side of each right triangle. Side C is the hypotenuse, sides A and B are legs. We already knew that. Leave your answers in the simple radical form. So I have B and it's got a radical in there, but don't let that trip you up, all right? So I have a B, I'm missing my A, and I have C as the hypotenuse. So that would be A squared plus, now here's the thing, radical 6 squared squared is just 6, right? Because that means if you square it, that gets rid of the radical, okay? So to write everything out, I would just then say c is equal to c squared, and then I would have fill in c for 4 squared. So then I would have a squared plus 6 is equal to 16. I'm minus the 6 on each side, so I get a squared is equal to 10. And then I just take the square root of 10. And I get 3.2. So again, this one's going to be in its simplest radical form, but that's radical 10. That's what we did in this stage right here. So it is the same answer. All right, state if each triangle is a right triangle. So a right triangle, what it means is a squared plus b squared has to equal c squared. So anything on the left has to equal anything on the right. So the final answer has to the left, has to equal the right. So let's do this. Knowing that, let's just do, we know that this is the hypotenuse, even though this should say I have a right angle sign there, just like this one should. But it would be 10 squared plus 2 radical 39 squared is equal to 16 squared. So then I would do 100. And then what you could do is what you could do in your calculator is just the square root of 39 is equal to 6.244 something. Multiply that by 2, you get 12.489996, and then you square root that, and you get 156. So 1 plus 156 is equal to 16 squared. 16 squared is equal to 256. So then combine like terms. So does 256 equal 256? Yes, it does. So yes, it is a right triangle. Going on to the next one, we got some decimals, but that's all right. We know that this is our hypotenuse, or our C. So A, B, and C. So do 39 squared plus 32.5 squared is equal to 48.5 squared. Plug this stuff into your calculator. So this would be 1521, and then 32.5 squared is equal to 1056.25, and then 48 squared is equal to 2304. So I can automatically tell that this is not going to be just because this has a decimal on this side and this side doesn't, but let's just add these up. So the right side is going to be 2304, and then if I do 1521 plus 1056.25, I get 2577.25. So it does not equal each other, so no, it's not a right triangle. All right, state if the three sides lengths form a right triangle. So it's either a yes or no. So really all you have to do is plug this in again. Normally you can normally find out using the triplets, but just to check your answer, this would be 9 squared plus 15, I'm sorry, not 15. Our longest side here is going to be our c squared. So 12 squared is equal to 15 squared. So 9 squared is 81 plus 12 squared is 144 is equal to, is 15 squared is 225. So I'm going to simplify the left side. I know the right side is 225. So do 81 plus 144, and I would get 225. So yes, absolutely. All right, acute, obtuse, or right. So in our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if this all depends on what you get for c squared. If c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared, it is obtuse, right? So that means it's an angle that's over 90 degrees. It'd be obtuse angle. If a squared plus b squared is less than, if a squared plus b squared is greater than c squared, it would then be acute, meaning it would be under 90 degrees. So let's take a look at this one right here. And obviously we know if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, that means it's a right. So I have an a, I have a b, and there's my c. So I'll do 9.6 squared plus 18 squared is equal to 20.1 squared. 9.6 squared is equal to 84.64. Then I'll add 18 squared, which is going to be 324. And I'm going to set that equal to 20.1 squared, which is 404.01. I know the right side is going to equal 404.01, so I just need to combine like terms. 324 plus 84.64 is going to be equal to 408.64. So this is the a squared plus b squared side. This is the c squared. And as you can tell, 408 is greater than, so that would be this equation right here, which we said was acute. So it means it's under 90 degrees. All right, state if the three side lengths form an acute. So it's the same thing. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to do 4.8 squared plus 28.6 squared is equal to 29 squared. 4.8 squared is equal to 23.04 plus 28.6 squared. It's going to be 817.96. And then I just have 29 squared. This is equal to 841. Right side is 841. So I just add 23.04 plus 817.96. And I get 841. So this is true. That means it is a right triangle. That's all I have. So how to advocate for yourself. You can send myself or Mr. Cladis an email. You could stop in after school today. You could also utilize the math lab. So 3 great ways to advocate for yourself if you are confused. Hope you guys have a great night.